In this video, we're going to talk about how to protect your trading account when shorting stocks. Now first, we need to understand what it means to short a stock. When you're shorting a stock, you're basically selling shares in a company to open your position, and then later you close your position by buying back those shares. Now, these shares that you sell, you don't originally own those shares. Rather, what you do is you borrow those shares from your broker, and then you sell those shares at the market, and at some point later, hopefully when the stock went down, you buy back those shares and return it to your broker or the person who lent those shares to you. So that's what it means to short a stock. Now, a person who shorts a stock, they're hoping that the price of the stock will go down because that's the only way they can make a profit. So let's say that the stock goes down from $30 to $10. So you're selling the shares when it's at 30, but you're going to buy it back when it's at 10. In this case, you'll experience a gain of $20 per share. Now let's say if the stock moves against you, that is, if it moves up. So let's say the initial price is 30 and it goes up to 90. If you sell at 30 and if you buy back at 90, you're looking at a loss of $60 per share, which is pretty significant. Now, this part is important. Notice that the amount that you could lose when shorting a stock exceeds how much money you received when you open your position. Therefore, you could lose a lot more money than your original position because there's no limit to how high a stock can go. This stock can go up to 300, it can go up to 900, it can go up to 2,000. There are stocks that are above $2,000. And so the potential loss that you can receive when shorting a stock can be astronomically high. So therefore, protecting yourself is a wise decision. And the way you can protect yourself when shorting a stock is by buying a call option. Now, what is a call option? A call option is a contract that gives the owner the right to buy shares in a company at a certain price. So in this case, this is a 90-day call option. This call option is active for 90 days. In 3 months, it will expire. And this call option has a strike price of $30. And one option contract controls 100 shares. So the person who owns this contract has the right at any time during the 3-month period to buy 100 shares at $30. So in this example, if the stock were to go up to 90, the trader who owns the call option doesn't have to buy it back at 90. Instead, he can exercise the call option and buy it back at 30, which will negate the amount of money that he received when he sold it at 30. So it's better to buy a stock at $30 than to buy it back at 90. And that's how a call option can protect a stock trader who chooses to short a stock. It protects them against rising stock prices. So let's work on this example and let's see the math behind using a call option to protect yourself. Stock XYZ is in a downtrend. Carla shorts 100 shares of the stock at $30, hoping that it will continue to fall. Roger also shorts 100 shares of the stock at 30. However, he purchases a 90-day call option with a strike price of $30 for a cost of $5. The next day, big news reaches the market. The company unleashes a novel patent-pending product. The stock gaps to $90. Carla receives a margin call and closes her position. So part A, calculate Carla's ROI. Carla shorts 100 shares of the stock at $30. So that means that she is selling 100 borrowed shares. 100 times 30 is 3,000. So initially her account increases by $3,000. Now at some point she has to return those shares. And the stock gaps to 90 she receives a margin call and she has to go to the market and buy back 100 shares at $90, which is 9,000. So her account is going to decrease by $9,000. Thus Carla is looking at a loss of 6,000. Things are not looking too good for Carla. So now let's calculate her ROI. The return on investment is going to be the profit or the net gain, which in this case really is negative 6,000. And her cost of investment, at least when short in the stock, is basically the amount of her original position. Even though she didn't really buy stocks to open her position, she sold stocks to open her position. So you can think of that as the cost of investment, which is 3,000. 6 divided by 3 is 2 times 100%. Carla is looking at a negative 200% loss. So as you can see, the potential loss of shorting a stock can be greater than 100%. It can be greater than your original cost of investment. And there's no limit to how high it can be. It can be 300%, 500%, 1,000%. So imagine if you're shorting a stock with an initial position of 10,000, but then you have to spend 100,000 to buy back those shares. That could be a huge loss. So thus, it's important to protect your original position. Now let's look at Roger's example. Let's calculate his ROI. So Roger, like Carla, also shorted 100 shares at $30. So his account is credited with $3,000. Now Roger purchases a 90-day call option for a cost of $5. And as was mentioned before, we know the call option gives him the right to buy the stock at $30, and it controls 100 shares. So 100 shares times $5, the total cost for that options contract is $500. So when he buys it, his account decreases by $500. Now, when the stock gaps up to $90, Roger doesn't have to buy back the stock at that price. Rather, what he could do is he can exercise his call option. He can exercise the right to buy back the shares at $30. And so this is going to be negative 3,000, 30 times 100. So he sold the shares at 3,000, he bought it back at 3,000. So these two numbers will cancel. The most that he can lose on this trade is the cost of the call option contract. So to calculate his ROI, he's down 500 and his cost of investment is 3,000. Well, technically, it's 3,000 plus 500 because he paid for the options contract. So he opened this position with $3,500. So times 100%. His loss is negative 14.3%. Now, if you were to calculate it just using this number, just so we have something to reference. So with respect to how much you receive from selling those shares, it will be 500 divided by 3,000 times 100%, which will be negative 16.7%. So these two numbers are not too far off. But notice that in both cases, it's much less than negative 200%. So let's go with the higher number. Relative to his open position of 3,000 from selling the shares, the most he can lose with respect to that value is negative 16.7% because he protected his investment. However, in this example, Carla, she's looking at a 200% loss. So buying the call option when shorting the stock can be very, very useful because it can protect you from huge losses. Now, granted, it's not every day that a stock will get to 3 times its value. However, it's still possible, it can still happen. And so owning a call option can protect you from huge losses such as that. So now you know how to protect your trading account when shorting a stock. It's by purchasing a call option at the strike price of which you bought the stock at, or at a strike price that's pretty much close to the price at which you bought the stock. It doesn't have to be the same, but if you do make it the same, then the most that you can lose is the cost of the call option. In this case, Carla can lose an unlimited amount of money. However, the most that Roger can lose is $500. So his downside risk is limited because he purchased the call option. So in this case, the call option acts as an insurance contract when shorting a stock. So in summary, buying a call option when shorting a stock limits the most that you can lose on a trade, which is the value of the cost option. Whereas if you don't buy the call option to protect yourself, the money that you could lose is unlimited. So now let's look at the other situation. Let's see if the stock moved in their favor. Let's compare the potential ROIs of Carla and Roger. So Carla still receives $3,000 for shorting the stock at $30. But this time, the stock moved in her favor and went down to $10, which means she can buy it back at $10 times 100. So she can buy back all her shares for $1,000. So she is looking at a gain of $2,000. So now let's calculate her ROI. It's 2,000 divided by the cost of investment, which is still 3,000, times 100%. So her ROI is positive 66.7%, which is good. The most that she can make if the stock goes to zero is 100%. So that's the most someone can make when shorting a stock. Unless the stock can become negative in value, which we haven't seen before, the most you can make when shorting a stock is 100%. Now let's look at Roger's situation. So he's going to receive $3,000 when shorting the stock initially. He's going to buy it back at $1,000, but he also paid for the call option, so that part doesn't change. So he spent $500 for the call option. So on this trade, he made $1,500, which isn't bad either. It's not as high as Carla, but it's still pretty good. So 1,500 divided by, we could use 3,000, but I'm going to include the costs of the call option. So I'm going to divide it by 3,500. So Roger's ROI is 42.9%, which is still pretty good as well. Nevertheless, these are the numbers that we need to focus on, because no matter what Carla's return is, it's if the price of the stock moves in their favor, Carla's return will always be, her gain in the trade will always be $500 more than Roger, because Roger purchased the call option for $500. So Roger can make a return just as high as Carla minus the $500. So let's say if they shorted the stock when the price was high, let's say if it was at $100 and Carla made $8,000. The most that Roger can make in shorting the stock would be like $7,500. It would be $500 less than Carla. So even when buying the call option, Roger can still make significant gains in shorting the stock. However, he's protected when the stock moves against him. The most that he can lose is limited. So he can still make modest gains when shorting the stock, But at the same time, it protects them from huge losses if the stock really goes very high. So now you know how to protect your trading account when shorting stocks. It's by buying a call option to protect your position. So that's it for this video. Hopefully you found it to be helpful. For those of you who want more videos on stock related content, feel free to take a look at the videos in the description section below. I'll be posting a few links in that area as well. So if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and thanks again for watching.